Hey guys, so I planned a whole video, another one with skits with my children of how to prepare for Yom Kippur. But Baruch Hashem, some of them actually went back to school. So I'm just going to sit down and give you a few tips of how to get ready and be prepared with children on Yom Kippur. Ready? Tip number 1. Okay, so tip number 1 is to prepare your children with activities. Children need to be occupied. So in our houses, we have books and we have puzzles and we have tons of games, right? And we don't want to go to the store and buy new toys and games because that costs a lot of money. So I have an idea for you. Knock on your neighbor's door, call them up on the phone, and ask them, hey, you want to trade some books, some games, some toys for a few days? This way you get brand new stuff for your children and your neighbor's happy. So even if you live in an area with people that are older than you, don't worry, grandparents also have toys, books, and games. And if you don't have any neighbors that are young or old that are willing to trade, maybe it's time to just move to a new community. Stay tuned for tip number 2. Okay, tip number 2 is treats for davening and for sleep. So first let's talk about treats. Every home, treats can mean something different. It could be a lollipop or a piece of gum. It also could be chocolates or a snack. So I try to stay away from the sugary sweets because I'm the one that takes them to the dentist and it's just not worth it. So I went to the store, the Shuk Shekel store, and bought a bunch of different snacks of different tastes. And what I do is on Yom Kippur, when my kids are sort of chilling out, playing with those new games and toys and puzzles that we got for them. So I used to just slip away, right? And think, oh, they'll be fine. It'll be quiet and I'll be able to daven and I'll have some time. And then after just a few minutes, they'll come and say, oh, mommy, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. But I'm in the middle of Tfilat Shmona Esrei and I can't move and I can't talk. So what I've learned is to have a backup plan. So if you just have little kids that won't take no for an answer and will bug you while you're davening, so I just put the snacks right next to where I'm davening that they can't see it, whether it be in a shelf or in a drawer on the table on the side. And when they pull out my skirt and they need some attention, I'll just take the open snack and give it to them. And usually they'll leave me alone for another good few minutes. If you have older children that know a little patience, so what I'll explain to them is that Ima wants to go daven for a few minutes. Maybe they could help watch the little ones or take them outside. But after Ima finishes, I have a special surprise for them. Now, some kids, it'll help to know what that surprise is, and you could show them the treats that they could decide and they're going to get in just a few minutes. And some kids, not knowing, is going to keep them on their edge so that they stay away and give you some quiet time. But another tip, and this is tip number 3, is treats for sleep. So stay tuned if you want to maybe take a nap on Yom Kippur. Okay, tip number 3. You ready? We all get tired on Yom Kippur, right? We're fasting, we're watching the kids by ourselves, it's a long day. Unless you're a super mom and you just have no problem fasting and doing it, then you're awesome. But for those of us that need a break, it's good to take a nap. So how do you get a nap on Yom Kippur? The best thing to do is wait for the little one to take their nap, because then you usually know how much time you have. And the other kids that are home with you, take out only a book or a puzzle. No toys, because toys equals noise. Noise equals mommy's not sleeping. Unless you have a nice high house or a basement and you won't hear anything in the other room, then go for the toys. So what I do is I give my kids half an ISIS, set them up with a book or something quiet like a puzzle, and I tell them I'm going to lie down, whether it be an hour, or if they understand time, I'll tell them what time I'm going to get up. And I say, I know you're going to be so quiet and you're going to be amazing. And when I get up, the other half of your ISIS is waiting in the freezer, and I can't wait to give it to you. And if it works, and davening for that to work is also very recommended, but when you wake up and you give them other ISIS because you got a good nap or they were quiet and they listened to you, even if it was just for half the amount of time that you wanted, give them that other ISIS and say, thank you so much. I knew you would be quiet. I knew you would be such a good boy and girl in your room. Thank you so much. You ready for tip number 4? It's coming. Okay, my next tip is all about lunch. Now, we're fasting, so we can't eat, but our kids are going to be hungry. But you don't want to be in the kitchen, cutting up, warming up, right? And then there's the cleanup. It's exhausting, it's tiring, and it's just not the day that's what we want to find ourselves doing. So I have an idea that's super simple. And if your kids want to eat at different times, it's really not a big deal to just take it out, feed them, and clean up. And for kids that do need to make hamotzi because it is a Yom Tov, this takes care of that as well. Are you ready to see my trick? I get pito, and I get deli, cold cuts, pastrama, whatever your kids are going to eat and like and enjoy. You could throw in some ketchup, cut up some pickles, and that's it. I give them plastic plates, plastic cups, and they clean up by just throwing away their dishes. It's that simple. So get some pito, get some fresh deli, and that's it. No cleanup, no hassle, easy and breezy. You're welcome. Okay, so now we arrived at the last tip, or it's more of advice, and that is to take advantage of the day. Right, we're busy taking care of our children, but we also need to know how to take the time and to connect, because it really is a special and holy day. Now, I remember when I used to go to shul every year, and that beautiful davening, and that time that you really felt like your tefillah was accepted, and this intense feeling. And then all of a sudden, I found myself home, all by myself, with my children, without that davening, and I felt like something was really missing. And I said, how could that be Yom Kippur? I didn't do anything. And then a few years ago, I heard this beautiful story as a mashal that really helped me connect on Yom Kippur and to understand the kedusha of the day. So I thought I would share it with you. So there's this king, and he invites all of his servants to come to his palace one special day to ask for whatever is on their heart. And they come, each one by one, shows up into the palace and has time with the king. And then all of a sudden the king sees someone walk into the palace, and he quickly says, come here. It was his children's caretaker. And he calls her over and he says, what are you doing here? And he says, and she explains, what do you mean? The king invited me just like he invited all the other servants and staff members in the village. And he said, but if you're here, then who's taking care of my children? And that really hit home, because if we really understand how special and a zchut it really is to be taking care of Hashem's children, then we know that we're exactly where we're supposed to be. Men and other people have to go to shul and spend hours and hours to connect for their tefillah to be accepted. But we are special, and we get a special pipe straight from wherever we are, whether it be in our backyard or in our kitchen or in the living room, to just open our mouth and speak to Hashem, and it's accepted. They say that our tefillah is like a pipe that goes straight from us to Kisei HaKavod. So take advantage of the day. Speak to Havash Hashemayim. Speak to Him. Open your hearts, and I guarantee you that He will listen. All of our tefillot shel yitkabel l'tova, we should all be written in the Sefer of Tzadikim. We should nizkeh for another year of Bsorot Tovot and only Dvarim Tovim. Have a Gmar Chatima Tova. Shana Tova. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share in the comments what you thought.